Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LocherStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan. If you were here for the pre-show, you heard some music. That music is new. Hot off the press, as it were, from Bill Champagne. It's going to be in Kingdoms of Harad. And just got that this morning. So it was really cool to be able to share that with you ahead of the show. And we'll have it next week as well if you want to check it out. Or you can watch the Twitch broadcast if you want to give it a listen. Or you'll hear it soon enough in Kingdoms of Harad itself. So welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. The kitty is snoring. I hear the kitty slightly snoring off in the distance. Couldn't tell you exactly where, but in the living room here somewhere. All right. Well, I just kind of quick looked at chat. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a great time. We have got a lot happening inside of the game. We've got a lot happening on Bull Roar and a lot coming up here soon. So why don't I get to the news and let's just sort of get to it. So the first thing I want to mention is a look at our schedule. Today, the Durin's Day event has kicked off, and that runs through the 21st, shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern on the 22nd. So that runs until 3 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday. It's the Durin's Day event. If you haven't run it, I would just do a quick Google search and find either Fibro Jedi or its guide or the Locher wiki entry on it. It'll kind of tell you what to do. I'm going to probably do some of that a little bit later on in the show, although this character I think may have already completed it. So I don't know that I'm really going to get to see much, but we'll do it anyway on this character and see what you kind of get a sense of what's up with Durin's Day event, which is happening right now. The other thing happening this weekend is we have a 25% XP boost. That goes through the 19th, shut off at 3 a.m. on the 20th. And the Forester Crafting event is back. That is also through the 21st, shutting off at 3 a.m. Eastern on the 22nd. We have got another Bull Roar set for next week. This week, we debuted Update 46 on Bull Roar with Adagim. And next week is on Shrew. And I believe there may be an instance or something in there as well. So that'll be happening next week. We also have our preview right here, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/LocherStream, our latest casual stroll. Our, I guess it's third one now, happened this week. That is up on YouTube if you want to check that out. But basically, we're doing Bull Roar previews for the next couple of weeks here. Also, Harvest Math is underway. That kicked off on the 9th, but that runs through November 2nd. So you saw that maybe last week on the show. We might do a little bit more of that today if time permits, but maybe it won't. Either way, Harvest Math is well underway, so hopefully you're taking advantage of that as well. Couple of quick news item notes. Let me switch cameras. Okay, this week I know I had my background image. Why are you not backgrounding? Okay, well, whatever. I will deal with it next week. Another black screen news day on this scene. There should be a ring spinning, except it's not spinning. Anyway, we extended the Legendary Items reward track. We announced that this week. So essentially what we're doing is we're extending it out just by a few weeks to align it with the release of Kingdoms of Harad. That brings the new level cap of 160. And since there's a lot of itemization work that goes into the LI reward track, we wanted to have the 16th really be focused on the 160 cap rather than try to split it between 150 and 160. So that's essentially why we're extending the 15th track and starting the 16th track with the release of Kingdoms of Harad. But that news went out, so you have a little bit more time to get your 15th LI track rewards if you are interested. Make sure you do claim them before the release of Kingdoms of Harad. The other thing I want to mention, this kicked off last week and has been going all week. For the most part, pretty good, except sorry if you've been running into an issue. But for the most part, we have had a lot of transfers happening over this past week, since a week ago yesterday when we kicked off our 32-bit Dark Worlds transfers to the 64-bit Game Worlds. And a lot of people have already done that work. Some of the rush is over, although I noticed just today, as a matter of fact, I was seeing some additional traffic-related concerns on our transfer service. So we are, in fact, seeing pretty heavy demand for this thing. And that will ease up over time. This is going to be around for 2 years, so you have plenty of time to do it. But we do have free transfers available from our 32-bit Dark Worlds. These are not the ones that were opened as Dark Worlds earlier this year, but these are the 32-bit worlds that just closed. And if you still have characters on there, you can transfer them off for free to a 64-bit game world for next 2 years or so. So, Locher.com is going to be the place to go for that info. We also, though, did last week as well open up some free transfers between 64-bit game worlds. We talked about this pretty extensively in last week's show, so I don't want to belabor the point here. But this continues through Tuesday, November 4th, shut off basically when we bring the worlds down on the 5th. And free transfers from Orcrist and Meriadoc to Grand, and from Glandring and Peregrine to Sting. No current plans to do any further 64-bit Game World transfers for free. Paid transfers are also available if you are interested. And this, as we discussed last week, is really about some population balancing. Try to deal with some of those queues on Orcrist in particular. I would also call your attention to our Harvest Math Festival guide if you've not run the Harvest Math in a while, or if you just need a little help. This will get you going. Would also strongly recommend Fibro Jedi's guide if you want to know, okay, well, this is where I need to go, but how do I actually do it? He's going to get you covered. But this will tell you where to go and give you all the information that you need to get going on your own with the Harvest Math Festival. And we even have some new rewards this year, which has proven somewhat popular. So, what else do I have? Not much. I think that is really the short version of the... Oh, no, because we do have... Where do I have my... Yeah. We actually have a moderately large thing to deal with, and that is this week's debut of the Bull Roar release notes for Update 46. Yeah, so this is going to grow over time. This is going to change over time. Probably not all the stuff's going to be in there. There will be stuff that, whatever. These are work in progress notes through the current Bull Roar preview cycle. But we are doing our preview for Kingdoms of Harad, and with it, that includes a bunch of performance testing. I can talk a little bit more about that in a bit. The additional crafting is here. Tier 16 Sul Madish. I think that's how you say that. But then, other release notes I want to call your attention to. For example, is now 12 instead of 15 total days to get the Salutation to Fair Days Farmers Fair wrapper quest. That's for next year, obviously. Also, the Bountiful Harvest Fall Festival wrapper quests with U46, so not this year, can no longer be canceled. And this will prevent issues with people receiving them next year, essentially. People get stuck not being able to get it because it canceled it in the past, and we're going to solve that issue in Update 46. We have some work being done on the Ring Wraith and a sort of encounter in the Veil of the Nine Worlds. But I also want to call your attention to, and I'm not going to read it because it would kind of sound like word salad a bit, but some pretty extensive class work is being done in Update 46 as well, related to the Burglar, Champion, Hunter, Lore Master, Mariner, and Minstrel. So this is the class systems team's work here for Update 46. I've been hearing people, reading people rather, commenting about those changes on the forums. We do very, very much value that feedback. So, a little bit of work on combat and quests, instances, missions, and delvings. In particular, We're updating the weekly mission quests on a mission weekly and on a continuing mission weekly to incorporate new missions with Kingdoms of Harad. This will, however, cause these mission quests to reset when update 46 gets here. This is kind of how it has to work if you want to add new missions to the mission wrappers, is they get reset. So just be aware of that. Make sure you're not kicking off your next set a couple days before the expansion comes out. I would also point out, though, that we have some pretty significant PvMP work that happened on for this week's Bull Roar and will exist through the preview cycle as well. So if you're into PvMP, check this out. I know this week's PvMP preview didn't work very well. We had really level scaling issues trying to incorporate the PvMP system in a preview setting with our level cap coming up. That'll get sorted in future previews, and we will get an opportunity to do more extensive PvMP previewing on Bull Roar. But we're making a change where the Tyrant's brands and Captain General insignias are being deprecated. They will no longer function. You'll be able to barter your old brands or insignias for some of the original commendation value at either Gramsfoot or Glanvrag. These items were meant to be a stopgap solution and were originally added when players did not have access to skill-based crowd control breakouts. Though Freep classes gained these breakouts years ago, Creeps lagged behind. As of this update, however, all Creeps will now have skill-based CC breakouts, meaning every player now has access to both a catch-all breakout skill as well as existing potions for specific kinds of CC in the Etten Wars, which will let us finally retire brands and insignias. So, big change, but as discussed. Other PvMP work you can check out. Some miscellaneous work not worth bringing up at this time. Fixing some art and avatar things with Elf and High Elf on the Golden Passage milestone skill. And some other things as well. But that hit this week. So all this is pretty much new news to you if you haven't been on Bull Roar. I would call out that we do have a somewhat specific sale of interest to certain people. That being our 20% off Accelerate Your Adventure sale. Why might you care about that? Well, it includes discounts on select Gift of the Valar packs, aka everything except the new one. Select Gift of the Valar level boosts, I think pretty much the same. Mithril coins, and that's through October 23rd. So if you've been waiting for a Valar, this might be your chance. If you've got Kingdoms of Harad, you'll know that we include level ups and Valars in the upper tier packages there, but this is a chance to get the lower tier ones at a discount. I think I covered the news, so let me real quick go into chat, and then we will head in game. Yes, unfortunately, we did the best we could to get messaging out about our 32-bit worlds, but yes, we too have seen the forum threads about, wait a second, what happened to all my characters? They're gone. And we do apologize for any stress that we caused there. Thankfully, the solution is easy, and we've got these worlds available for a long time. So as people come back and perhaps get a little surprised by the news, at least we have a easy solution for them to resolve it. So, when does Kingdoms of Harad come out? Well, I cannot provide further guidance other than what is stated in our pre-purchase page. So, whatever you see in the pre-purchase page is what we are saying our release date is. And that's really what I have to say. Yes, we are actively working on two-factor authentication. That should arrive at some point here. It's been a project for a while now, kind of got shifted around a bit due to other transfer lag and other priorities, but it is on that list of being worked on. So I'm looking at chat. A quote fix for the launcher continually asking for Windows UAC permissions. I know that there are some subset of players encountering that issue. Let me swap cameras here. For that particular issue, my understanding is in some ways it's a Windows issue, right? Typically, if you install in the default, like C games directory, I know that there are some cases where people are encountering this. I've never encountered this because I install into my D drive, essentially, is one way to get around it. Another way to do it is to make sure your Windows document has full write permissions and make sure you're running the game client as an administrator. Otherwise, it gets a little Windows techy, and I can't really address that myself. Perhaps technical support can assist, however. Has the population on Glamdring increased? In general, I can't get into business side of things, but we've had a successful Explore Our World coupon code, which is currently active. I guess I didn't bring it up this week yet, but it has, in fact, led to a whole bunch of people coming back and a whole bunch of people signing up per usual, which is a good thing. So yeah, all the worlds have been seeing the results of that promotional effort. Do I know when we will start Extra Life? Yes, my intention, it's been on my short list of things to do over the past couple of weeks, and I know we're getting pretty close to it. My thinking is something like around Halloween, so essentially November 1st, but November 1st is a Saturday, so I'll do it on the 31st, is when I intend to have the web page up in English, French, German with all the new stuff and the new details. And then the 8th, Saturday, November 8th, right here on Twitch is when the live stream's going to be. I had spoken earlier about how I might be going to Extra Life Unlocked in person, actually flying out to Salt Lake City. Well, I have to say plans changed this week, and so I'm no longer doing that. I wish them all the best at Extra Life Unlocked, but I'm going to be here, literally here in this chair, on Saturday, November 8th, running this live stream for both games. Something like at least noon to midnight. Locher side will probably be a lot longer than that. If the past is any indicator. So, but that's the plan for Extra Life. So I would expect basically 2 weeks from today, we'll have the full list out. The donations will continue through the end of the year. It'll be a pretty typical Extra Life, I think, this year. And I know I've got some returning titles that people have been asking for a while. And I'm expecting it to hopefully be well received this year. Where can you find the schedule for Bull Roar? You can find it on our internal Jira. Sorry, we don't have a full schedule public for Bull Roar, but we do announce ahead of time on the Bull Roar forums, typically when we're doing previews and things like this, and on the forums. So if you're keeping a track, and our Discord, our Locher Discord will kind of give you the cadence. And the way it usually goes is we do pretty much every week, sometimes every other week, but pretty regularly on a cadence leading up to expansions on a similar time frame to what we do now. Friendly Psycho, I believe that Orion spoke to that recently, that we are not currently looking at a level squish. But I will leave his most recent comment on that to be the main one. I wouldn't want to try to parrot it. Anything new about Rivendell housing? It is... Can I say it? I think I can say that it's on our 2026 agenda. which is also well underway. That's the other thing that's happening. Besides all the work being done related to Kingdoms of Harad and the Bull Roar preview this week, the other big thing that is well underway is the actual, okay, now we like inside, I can tell you what we're going to do in 2026. Now let's get it on paper and figure it all out. And that is what we're actively doing right now. Have I confirmed whether the Bull Roar title will be on the loot list? Let me provide some context to that for those who don't know. This most recent Bull Roar preview included a performance test. And in particular, we needed to get as many full raid groups as we could onto Bull Roar during targeted times of like 2 to 4 p.m. and 8 to 10 p.m. on last Wednesday and Thursday, and then from 2 to 4 p.m. this Wednesday. And what we were doing is actually, we had a software engineer doing data pulls and monitoring things in real time to see the impact of a significant performance change that we think will be coming soon. And that performance change really involves the way packets of information are sent during heavy large group instance scenarios. And the results we found last week were dramatic. As people have stated in the forums, you only get so much on Bull Roar because you don't have the full number of groups that you're going to see in a live world. But you can see, well, in the past it took up this much space and now it's this. Or in the past this happened 100 times and now it's only happening 10 or whatever, right? And that did happen. And we did see those results. So we also identified the next step, thing to do even more. So the engineering team work and did that last week. And then this Wednesday was us taking a look at that. That's why we needed you back on this Wednesday. So everyone got in, we did the same kind of data polls and testing, and yes, we saw even better benefit. So the next question is, well, how soon can we get this live? And the answer is as soon as we can. Really. Is it going to solve all the problems? Heck no. Of course not. Nope. Will not. We already know that. It's certainly going to solve this problem, though. So at least that's the thinking on it. So that'll be out as soon as it can be, and you will hopefully see some amount of result from that work, I'm happy to say. Part of it, though, is we need to figure out how to get people on Bull Roar. So we have come up with a title called Fellow of the Bull Roar. This is an in-game title for the live game worlds. And folks like myself, Orion, whoever wants to do it on the staff, will be able to actually distribute this code to people on Bull Roar to redeem on the live game world. So you'll actually open up the Lotra store in the live game, not on Bull Roar, pop in the coupon code and apply it to your account. There is no plan to bring this to the Extra Life reward list at this time. I could. I probably will. But not for a while, because we want to use this, frankly, as a way to encourage participation in Bull Roar. It's a free, easy thing we can do. And it has some motivation to get you onto Bull Roar. So at least for a little while now, this is going to be a benefit to those who are willing to take part in our preview environment. Eventually, it'll probably end up on the community loot list, but I would say not for at least a year or two. Is the short version. The long version of the short version of that answer, I guess. So. Will there be a time where the, quote, old Dark Worlds reopen for transfers as well? No, that period has ended. They were available for transfer from like 2015 to 2018, and then again for much of the year here. And then when they closed on August 31st, that was it. They are done for good. They will never be coming back. As a matter of fact, they're going to get, that hardware is no longer going to be in service. So they are done. What does it mean? Experience the epic finale on the new expansion. this isn't, quote, the last one, right? Well, it is the finale, the final chapters of the Song of Waves and Wind. This is, if you can think about, say, the large story arcs that we've done, both with the epic book, Song of Waves and Wind, the War of Three Peaks one. Why is that name skipping my brain right now? But that one, for example, that kind of thing. And so this is going to be the end of that. So we're wrapping up the story that we have been telling for some time now. And it sounds like a pretty exciting conclusion from what I have heard. So you don't want to miss it if you're into the story that we've been telling here on the Lord of the Rings Online. And if frankly you hate that story, if you're like, yay, it's ending. Well, okay. Well, it's ending. So we'll be moving on to the next one here after that. Yes, Legacy of Durin and the Trials of the Dwarves. Thank you, Lariana. Well, and Druid's Fire, who also posted it in there. The dwarf one didn't quite seem like the right name for it, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. Let's head in game. There's my image. Okay, well, at least I've got an answer as to why it didn't work. I put it on the wrong scene. I dropped it in the wrong box. Where am I? I am in Erebor. The reason I'm in Erebor is, and like I say, I have actually, I think I've already done 3 years of this, so I'm not 100% sure how successful this attempt's going to be. But we will simply give it a shot. And what am I doing? We're going to do the Durin's Day stuff. Once you get here, it'll be on your map of the old side door. But if you haven't been there, it's going to take a little work to figure out. I would recommend, frankly, that you go to Fibro Jedi's guide because he's got nice maps. I'm dropping that one in chat right now. But he has some nice maps. Basically, if you're going from Erebor, you go west. If you're going from Dale, you go sort of northwest, and you just sort of figure your way out there. Eventually, you will get to a path that'll make sense. But if you're like me and haven't done that in a while, I'm just going to have to kind of find it together. So let's find it together, shall we? I seem to remember, again, going off mostly muscle memory here, that you just sort of get out from Erebor and start heading off to kind of the west-northwest here, and then eventually a path will open up to you that will sort of lead you around to where you need to go. Is it this? I also need to move my screen here just a second. I cannot see your chat. Okay. No, this is not. Yes. Okay. Still working my way around. Yeah, it is a level 115 zone. For the most part, you'll be fine, other than maybe a few bears and stuff. People can help you out. You can figure it out. Yes, and so then you want to start looking for these. See these little flags here? See that flag that's on the screen? You'll want to keep an eye out on that, and just follow the flags essentially to where you need to go. And you'll want to do this a couple of years in a row to get all the full benefits of it. And the benefits are slight. This isn't something that's going to get you big rewards or anything like that. This is really about the experience rather than anything else. I can't remember how Durin's Day works once you've already got it. That's why I'm trying to hedge my bets here a little bit on live stream, but I think we're still good. Yep, so, well, actually, that's just a lost floor.
It was given to him by men, Thor said. Men chanced upon it in some troll horde.
But you will see, there is the...
Had no ears.
Here we go, quest available, the old side door, Durin's Day upon Erebor. Does give you a little LIXP at least. Examine the thing. There you go, you got the light, the awesome sunlight happening. There we go. And that's really all there is to it. It's just a, oh, actually, maybe this was mine. Yeah, okay, well, maybe I'm year 2 or 3 here now, because you do this a couple of years to progress the deed, so. Well, that's nice. That worked out great. And you can just kind of chill in the beautiful area right there. Why don't we do that while I look at chat? Yeah, the other thing is if you've got some kind of speed boost or whatever, you can kind of just sort of make your way over there. I remember doing it, I believe, with a little help from the stream at a low level, and I think I even rammed there myself at like 105. Yes, you get a new title each year until you have 3. That's how it goes. I knew it was something like that. But I think once you do it, that's kind of it, right? Or can you continue to do it even if you don't get the progress? I can't remember how that works. Oh, you still get the XP even after the 3rd year? Well, there you go. Easy XP. And isn't that the nature of every event? No. This one's really about the cool light effect. Okay, well, we've done this now, so where do we want to go next? Let us go over. We've got about 25 minutes here. I don't know where I want to go. Kind of already did harvest math. I suppose I could do more harvest math, but I don't think I've got a map to get there too easy. Do I have a map to the party tree? No. No, just the treasure field. Well, I could just do it. So, we will go to... Do I not have... There we go. Reshade would make it look amazing. Yeah, I've seen that reshade before. It's pretty cool. I've never used it myself on my computer, but I know some people do dig it. If you have housing, the Housing Town Center has a stable master that'll take you straight to the party tree. There you go. Does the time of day change for this interaction? That is a good question. I believe it is carefully set up. I think. I don't know. I haven't tried. Perhaps someone in chat can tell me. But my belief is that the way it is set up is sort of... Always you're going to get that sunrise experience if it's active and you're there. I think it's just sort of the way they've got it put together. But I could be wrong. No, you can't get there? It's a static, yeah, it's a static time point on the ledge. There you go. And I think that's part of, I think maybe there's a little behind-the-scenes trickery going on, which is why they kind of send you through those paths there. But, you know, the sneaky devs.
Stay and have some tea.
I don't want to do churros and chicory on camera here. I'm going to head back, I think, to Wistmead. Lirin 1988 says, after looking at the DDO online content creator program, can we expect Lotro will follow a similar expectation? Thanks. Yes. I and Snipes and others did that, worked on that some this week. My intention would be certainly by the end of the year we'll get it going, and perhaps even sooner than that. But it'll operate pretty similarly. We'll have an application period, people will apply, people who are not me will take a look at the applications and start calling the list, and eventually something like a proposed final list will get to me, and I'll provide my input on it. But I am not in charge of the program, I help run it, and it's a group effort really through Daybreak Games, their publishing arm. So we'll have an application. Hopefully we'll find and identify both existing Lotro streamers in addition to people who want to be, who are mid-tier and that sort of thing. And by like mid-tier variety, if I can use some internal lingo of Twitch streaming. Because you got people who do that stuff and are interested in this kind of thing, and that's sort of part of what this is about. So, but there will be an opportunity for Lotro streamers, very much so, and it'll operate similarly to the DDO program. One way it may not operate the same, however, is because of the way it works. We can't just bring in everybody. There's certain kind of numerical limits we have to deal with and what have you. So, I'm not sure that we're going to bring in the stream team on the Lotro side. I think the stream team might remain independent. Huh. For some reason I am locked up. I am locked up. That's bad. Well, okay. I had the same problem last week. I think it's because I've got my software thing going, but I think I need to quick reboot the client. In order to look at my schedule, I need to have a thing on. And that thing on seems to screw with the Lotro client occasionally. Nice little bit of fun inside baseball there. All right. Can I explain what it is? I have not heard of it. Well, I'm just doing a search for the DDO content creator program and it'll get you the info. But essentially, this is targeting larger content creators and establishing a formal relationship with them through Daybreak Games. So if you're, say, someone who streams on Twitch and has several thousand viewers, we want you, right? We want you to stream our game. And we do that by bringing you into the program. We get you some free stuff. It creates a system where we can track your content and you can get free stuff from us and email us directly and things. There'll be a section of the Lotro Discord where people like myself can interface directly with content creators. There are requirements for the program as well. So, for example, we're not just looking for people who want free stuff. There are requirements of like, well, you need to make so much content about our game in exchange for remaining on the program. You don't have to do it, but, it's a collaborative relationship where it's like, we want you to make content about our game, and as a result, we'll get you stuff. And that's really what it is. Influencer marketing is the way you'll hear it inside of the office and in other offices. But for someone like myself, it's really nice because if you think about what I've been doing for the past decade, a lot of it is just DMing people on Discord or over the forums, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, that kind of thing. I'm kicking Kingdoms of Harad pre-purchase codes to uh, occasional press and streamers and stuff. And this really creates a software-based infrastructure where you will have signed up through a program called Sidekick. It's used all over the games and esports space for this kind of thing. But it really just sets up a formal relationship where we've got your contact info and then we can get you stuff real easy. So, and maintain that relationship. So, all right, I am on the road again. Yeah, and if you are into streamer culture, you're probably already familiar with some of the terms I just used. Because you'll have maybe heard that name Sidekicker, and there's others out there that kind of do the same thing.
Hello there. Might I speak
But,
with you a moment?
It's relationship management software is what it is. But it's great for people like me, and it allows us to reach people who otherwise might not hear us, you know?
Could I take a moment of your time?
Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this one. The Fog Dog and Ale. I don't remember what I'm supposed to... Here we go. I mean, I don't know. If it does this to you after one sip, maybe you should not do it. That's just what I'd be saying. But, you know, I'm not here to judge. I am, however, saying that might not be the wisest decision. I can't remember. So I know, like, getting scared will help. There we go. Not recommended. But see, they didn't have cars, so they didn't have to worry about it, did they? Okay, where I am going... Do we do reels to attract people? Yeah. Well, yes and no on that. We have started doing shorts. I have started doing some shorts. We have a TikTok. We do promotional advertising on TikTok right now. It's something that you'll see us do more of. The reality is vertical video is an increasingly important part of the promotional picture if you're a video game. And as a result, we are likely to lean into that ourselves here in the coming months. Now, that doesn't mean we're getting rid of anything we're already doing, but this will let us do more in that space. So yeah, we will be... One of the things that's on my agenda is to better facilitate a workflow that will let me do stuff like this and then turn it into minute-long shorts, reels, talks, whatever, and do it that way. But we're not there yet, and the reality is I've been busy this year. Everything from getting the Discord up and running to other things, and it's just kept me very, very busy. So I've not really had the time to make that a part of my schedule so much this year, but I did some baby steps on it this year. All right, I think we're good there. An animated GIF on YouTube. You do need more shorts served to you about Lotro, AJ Oker says. I think you're right. I mean, a ton of people these days are getting their news vertically on their phones, and it only makes sense that we do what we're already doing to the extent we can and get it there as well. There's process to it. You know, you can imagine trying to go through an hour thing and turn it into bits is going to take time, and how much needs to be done and all that. But those are things I'm wrestling with, and the answer is there is stuff I can do, and there's stuff I should do, and there's stuff I probably will be doing here in 2026, because I really do want to get into a pattern of, since I'm already creating my own content, making sure I use that content as well as I can.
How do you do?
Y'all making me talk biz. I'm using the good old marketing lingo here today. Okay, we are going to now talk to Walrick. But who is right? Oh, no. Okay. Twitch drops in particular is a challenge, and one of the challenges, the biggest challenge, is that we don't have. Oops, it's not Walrick. We don't have a API integrated into our game client for Twitch. Twitch is a walled garden, and very similar to other walled gardens in that respect, where they only want to serve you the ability to do this kind of thing if you give them a whole bunch of data, essentially, and sign up and integrate their API into your game. And we're not opposed to doing that. For years now, we've had conversations about it, and there have been times where we were closer than we are today, perhaps, into doing that API integration. Someday, maybe. It's a someday thing. You have to ask, well, if we're doing Twitch, shouldn't we also do YouTube and TikTok and maybe Meta and others? I mean, there's so many APIs you could integrate into your game client, right? And but Twitch drops is gated behind that, and so as long as it remains gated behind that, it's going to be a moderate engineering and software task to get it integrated, and we just haven't gotten there. Eerie Acres. Yeah, we just yesterday, Orion, myself, Severlin, and others were talking about that new movie that's supposed to be coming out, and what we could do to sort of make sure we position ourselves appropriately during said cultural time frame. Clearly can't say more about that at this point, but yes, that is on our mind as well. I will let others answer your question friendly about how static our loot is. There's a lot of static random loot that you will receive. It's just part of the flow of the game. And there's stuff you can craft. Particularly once you get going for a while, you'll get into a legendary item scenario where you've got these kind of main items. You can have two of them. One for your class and probably something like a main hand item. And then you'll be crafting onto that and developing that perhaps more in a way that you're looking for. But if you're talking about general quest rewards, they tend to be static effects based on level range and things like that. So you'll see the numbers go up, MMO style. Okay, talk to Walric. Okay, I can do that if I remember where I put Walric. What movie? Yeah, I hear they're doing some Gollum thing. Let me break some news for you by providing completely rumor-based information of they're doing a Gollum thing. So. We do, AK Okra, in fact, do have remote positions. Many of us employees work from home remotely, but it's remotely with limitations, which tends to be along the lines of you need to live in a state that Daybreak Games is able to do business in. So it'll be places where we have all of their various development studios, like Massachusetts, in the case of Standing Stone Games. And then Massachusetts has sort of work proxy agreements with most of the New England corridor. So things like Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, I think Vermont counts as well, and that kind of thing. So within the ability of us to hire you legally, we can let you work remote. It all kind of depends on where you are and what you can do. But yes, as a matter of fact, we do. I'm not aware of any world design positions, however. As you yourself are saying, sure is a sweet job. And I believe the people who currently do that job enjoy it. So. Yeah, you should live across the street from the Daybreak Austin office. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, like, and even if you were being hired for Standing Stone Games, it would probably be okay if you were working in Austin, even though we're not anywhere near there, right? But they have the ability to hire employees and have that infrastructure in place to do it. So. Bingo is having a poor day. What is going on? There is more to this than we know. The curse of Eerie Acres is real, and it has affected some of the hobbits here already. No mistaking it. We have to get to the bottom of this. Maybe we have one. You said the writing on the sign you found had been crossed out with Eerie Acres. What words did this mysterious vandal replace? Cleary's Acres. Well, that is a place to start. We need to find anything we can about a hobbit named Cleary, and perhaps we will learn more about his homestead for it to be known as the Eerie Acres. Alright, this is a good time to stop here for the show, since we are at 12:58. Let me take just a couple of minutes to wrap up the chat. Also, my computer's having problems. Okay. It did fly by. It's almost like I talked for an hour nonstop. Oh, and since I talked about it so much last week, let me just say, go see Tron Ares if you want to. If you're on the fence, go see it. Don't worry about what all the critics are saying about it. If you want to see it, go see it. It's well worth it. I had a blast last week seeing that movie. I'm a uber nerd for that particular franchise and had a great time. And I extolled about it last Friday. But just so you know, just FYI, go see if interest. It is indeed. All right. Well, thanks for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. If you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, would very much appreciate it if you'd be willing to give me a quick like, thumbs up on that video, share it perhaps with a friend, subscribe to us on YouTube to get these videos in your subscription feed. If you're on Twitch, you're already helping just by being in chat with us. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.